Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Cancer energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Cancer energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy. We all have our dualistic nature because of free will. And we have to do this debate within ourselves about, kind of struggle within ourselves about the decisions we're going to make in life. And some people could be struggling right now. There might be in high vibe energy, having hope and faith and belief in their dreams and in their intuition. There could be some changes they'd like to make in their life, but they could struggle because they maybe wouldn't live life the way they've been living it. And the worldly shadowy row can kind of represent our comfort zone, and we kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. And there's going to be other people in the world who are moving forward. They've completed the debate within themselves, and they are going to move forward in this more high vibe way. And everybody's growing and learning and maturing and healing, and some people are moving forward. They've learned some lessons. Other people who've learned more lessons than them are moving forward. We're still kind of on different pages, but everybody at different stages in life is learning lessons in life. But for the people who are moving forward in life differently, there could be some people in their life and in the world who aren't moving forward differently. Because again, we heal and grow and mature at different times in life. So, and we're motivated and inspired to step out of our comfort zone at different times in life. So, anyway. And then there's some people who do harness some more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy. Emotionally, they're more invested in themselves, indulgence, things of the world. Definitely do have some healing and growing and maturing to do. And they'll maybe keep living their life like that. Some people use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship to get what they want, and they think that's just and fair. Some people are more emotionally invested in the things of the world. They want to indulge in these things of the world, or their ego, or their defensive nature, or money or materialism. And that's just where they're at. And the truth sets us free to live our life differently. We just need to see the truth of what kind of people are we dealing with, what drives and motivates them, how do they harness their Cancer energy. We all tap into Cancer energy, so listen to your intuition about how you handle your Cancer energy, and listen to your intuition about some other people in your life. So, the reason for the top row's reading is fruition. It's also the reason why the reading came out. This one has the bouquet on the head. So much of our life is just based on what we think, what we believe is possible, what we don't believe is possible, how we feel about ourselves. And maybe some high vibe people have realized that, I have free will. I can choose to belittle and berate myself every day. I can choose to love myself. I can heal. I can heal from past pain and heartbreak. And the reason for the bottom row's reading is release. So, we all have lessons to learn in life, and we live life viewing life a certain way. And then if we complete that cycle of life where we live life a certain way, we're meant to learn and grow and heal and learn lessons at that phase of life. When we release that phase of life. Like, I don't want to live my life like that anymore. I don't view life like that anymore. One time I used to think that was great, but then I kind of grew up and matured myself and expanded my perception of myself and the world around me. And then I released that old way of living life. And now I'm ready to face my fears, to step out of my comfort zone, to live my life differently, just like we did, age 15, age 18, age 21 to age 25. We had to release an old way of viewing life and some of our immature ways of being and ways of viewing life to believe in ourselves to go to the next phase of life. So, let's go look at the bottom row first. The masculine in reverse, so the way I read tarot is the masculine can represent how we present ourselves in the world and how we take action in the world, but why the feminines can reflect why we're doing what we're doing, how we think and how we feel. Previously, maybe people weren't kind of confident within themselves to take action in more hope and faith and belief. So they could have been letting their mind or their emotions kind of dictate their life. And we've got lessons to learn about that, right? We can let our heart run our life. We can let our mind run our life, our fear, our defensive nature run our life. And we're kind of really not balanced, because the more worldly, shadowy energy does mean we're out of balance. And maybe people weren't balanced within themselves. Am I who I really present myself to be? Or emotionally, do I have all these thoughts, all these feelings or whatever, and I'm kind of not presenting myself authentically in the world? I'm kind of upside down. I might present myself as more stable or grounded or mature than I really am. You know, emotionally, I might have a lot of things I need to release. So it could be something like that, but definitely could mean not taking action in your life in a way that is more aligned with your truth, because high vibe energy is about taking action on your truth. So then we have beginnings, sovereignty, action, boundaries. Beginnings, sovereignty, action, and boundaries. Okay. Maybe some people, again, you know, we all think the way we're living life at a phase of life is the right way to live life. We could think shadowy energy can be a more codependent energy, that we had some lessons to learn. We could have been living life a way we were living life. We were sure that that was the way to live life in the sovereignty card. Maybe some of us, we could have other people that weren't taking action towards us. We could have gotten out of relationships. So we wanted to have these new beginnings to kind of claim our independence from those things. But sometimes we can try to move on in new beginnings, but we really haven't resolved our issues really from the past. But we could get in new beginnings just to kind of, shadowy energy can be trying to create this illusion. Look, I've moved on. Look, I'm over that. Look, I've healed. You know, and then we could take this action. That is a feminine figure. So again, we could be letting our more, taking action more out of maybe even shadowy emotions, since the feminine figures can represent how we think and feel. And in shadowy energy, we could take action more out of shadowy emotions instead of from a more balanced place within ourselves. We're kind of tipped out of balance, where we could be indulging poor behavior in ourselves. We could be indulging poor behaviors in others. We have some lessons to learn. And then we have boundaries. And the whole thing is when we take action more out of fear or insecurity or codependency, being out of balance, you know, we have lessons to learn in life. And, you know, we're either taking action, high vibe energy represented by God, taking action in truth and love and stuff like that, or we got some lessons to learn, and that's when the devil can come into our life. But we, in our human worldly nature of the shadowy row, think, oh no, this is the answer to my problems. This is how I should go about things. These are the things I want. I might be letting my fear or my insecurity drive my decisions, or my codependency, or my lust, or my greed, or my more immature nature, looking to things outside of me to be the answer to my problems, instead of looking within me. Shadowy energy represented by the devil is all these things that oppress us and confine us and limit us and oppress us and imprison us. And we can feel safe in that comfort zone. We might be used to being in certain types of relationships or living our life a certain way. And we'll all repeat an old pattern over and over and over until we're ready, like, I just can't do this anymore. And it is because we start to realize it's becoming too oppressive, limiting, restricting, and oppressive. And we might get in relationships with people who are happy that, oh, you're still haven't learned to love and believe in yourself. Perfect. Let's date. Let's get in a relationship. Let's get married. You should work here. And because we haven't learned to do this work within ourselves, these things that we get ourselves involved in are all coming into our life to teach us, nothing's wasted. There's a key on each side. We're going to learn lessons. We just have to be willing to learn the lesson. If I keep doing life like this is how I end up. Damn, why is that? It's like, well, let's see. Have I been afraid of kind of standing up for myself or not doing the inner work that keeps me out of balance? If I keep being out of balance, if I maybe keep getting in relationships with people who are out of balance, maybe I'm equally out of balance. I can be a loving, giving, nurturing person, and I go get in relationships with people who aren't very or is free to give and receive love like I am, and then I am letting my over loving nature kind of run my life, and I get in relationships with people like I think I can free them from the things that limit and restrict them. I am in my God Savior complex. I have come to free you from the things that restrict you. But the whole thing is, everybody's got free will. And if we get in relationships with people who aren't taking this action within themselves to free themselves, then we find ourselves imprisoned by whatever it is that manipulates them. And it's very hard to change people's philosophy of life. If they were motivated and inspired to free themselves from that way of being, they probably would have already. But that's sometimes us, shadowy nature can be us being in our ego. We kind of, we want these things in the world. We want to be in relationships. And sometimes shadowy energy can be wanting to stay in denial of the truth. The truth sets us free. But we in our human nature, we want these things, and we like to believe we can change other people, and that love, if you're a very loving person, you think of course people are going to choose love. If somebody loving comes into their life, of course they're going to choose love, and they're going to be more authentic and warm, and they're going to transform their whole life. They're going to break themselves free. And sometimes we have to see the truth that some people aren't. They are the way they are because they did all the debate within them throughout life. And their conclusion kept being, nope, I'm going to be defensive. Nope, I'm going to live my life like this. Nope, I'm not going to do love. Nope, I get hurt doing love. People can like to be in relationships, but some people are never going to change their philosophy of life. We have free will. The people who have worked through the issues that keep them from being more just or fair or growing or maturing and tempering their ego nature, their defensive nature, their immature nature, if they had wanted to be that type of person, they would. And so sometimes what we should do, I think, is just deal with the truth. And we have lessons learned in that. And we think, oh no, they would do love. It's like, no, some people will never do love. They'll be in a relationship, but they'll kind of like being in a relationship with a condom on. I want to be in a relationship, but I'm not really going to be more authentically myself. I want this protective sheath over me, which can be their ego nature of defensiveness and self-protectionism. And sometimes we can get in relationships with people like that, and we continue to try to get people to be more free, to be more authentic, to be more loving, to release the past pain and heartbreak and fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, but it's a free will choice. So just like some of you had lessons to learn about either letting your heart or something run your life, or being in these kind of mismatched relationships, or always hoping people like, oh, I'm going to go get in a relationship with an immature, impulsive person. I'm sure they'll grow up. Everybody grows up over time, right? We've had a lot of life experiences when we were young, different types of people we dated and friends we hung out with. And, some people are motivated and inspired to free themselves from the things that manipulate them. We've all got some fears, some insecurities, some self-limiting beliefs. And some people throughout their life have periodically look at those things because they don't like being manipulated by them. And they work through them. But some people don't. And they just keep, no, another thing I'm going to bury underneath the surface. And that could be how they think they release themselves from it. Nope, that's done, that's over, that happened, it goes in a box in the back of my mind. And then they could kind of keep moving forward a little bit more, operating from their emotionally egoic nature, which they have the free will to align with. They could have been inspired to align with their more emotionally hopeful, believing nature to grow and heal and mature themselves. But some people emotionally, we have all these feminine figures here and the masculine in reverse, which can just mean whether they're male or female, they're not taking action to deal with their own kind of emotional issues. And they're choosing to live more from their egoic nature and kind of out of balance within themselves and maybe don't want to see the truth of it. We either see the truth that I need to deal with some of these issues to free myself from it, or I kind of live in illusion that I don't have to deal with them and it'll all be okay. But the problem is those things still affect them and how they handle themselves and the choices that they make in life because they haven't really freed themselves from it. And there's some people in our life that are going to live their life that way maybe all their life. They wish they could free themselves. Shadowy energy can be, again, very much when a card is in reverse, and with the masculine card in reverse, it can be people who are very much aligned with their ego nature. My life is about the world, how I think people view me, how I think people perceive me. That's how I define my worth and value. It limits me, it restricts me, it confines me because I feel like there's all these things, like these rules and regulations that I live by based on how I perceive the world, of how I have to live my life in order for people to view me a certain way. And for some people, it's all about how they think other people perceive them, instead of them knowing their own worth and value and loving and believing in themselves. And hey, I'm going to go out in the world from a foundation of love. I'm going to treat other people the way I like to be treated. I'm going to be respectful to people. And, people can just judge away whatever way they want. But some people don't, how we can all get caught up in, well, I couldn't really do what I really want to do or live my authentic life because what would people say? And some people are very emotionally limited because shadow energy can be fear, it can be insecurity, it can be getting caught up in all these things of the world. The whole thing is the people of the world are judging people no matter what, based on the type of person they are themselves, the person judging. Loving, compassionate people will realize I don't know everything that goes on in people's life. Loving, encouraging people want people to live their authentic life, to be free of the things that manipulate them. And when people speak their truth and live in truth, they applaud them. And there's other people in the world that don't matter what you do, I'm always going to look to someone that I can belittle and berate and criticize to make myself feel better, because I operate from my ego nature, which is competitive, and that's how I build my ego. And I just belittle and berate other people to make myself feel more like I'm better than them. So shadowy energy is getting caught up in the illusion. I can't live my authentic life. What would people say? And shadowy energy is about trying to manipulate people so people view you a certain way. And some people are all caught up in that illusion. And no, I have to live my life this way. No, I have to have this certain image and status. No, what would people say? It's people are going to think whatever the fuck they want to think regardless, based on who they are. Get out of the illusion, and how about go live your authentic life? And the people that are harsh and critical and belittling and berating, and the other people who live their life like that, yeah, they're gonna belittle and berate you. Because you freed yourself from all the things that manipulate them and they don't like it. Other people, start listen to their intuition. Why am I in something in my life or living my life a certain way? A job, a friendship, a relationship where I'm starting, it could have started out great, but then I do feel like I'm being limited or restricted, or that people are trying to manipulate me or control me or use the love I have for them to manipulate me. That's not love. Loving people are supposed to love and encourage you to be more independent, to trust your intuition, to grow to your full potential. And we're supposed to do that within ourselves. Why do I belittle and berate myself? Why am I not loving and encouraging to myself? How do I limit myself? How do I restrict myself? How do I stay in my comfort zone and not be more bold and brave and confident? And when we want to detach from certain things in our life, we have to look at, why would I stay in it? And why do I keep living my life that way? And some people, when they start to feel this limited, constricted thing for a long time, they could stay in it. And then there comes a time when people, like the little chink in the armor there, which I can't really tell what that is, if it's a flower or like a butterfly. But it's like, why am I not loving and believing in myself? Why am I staying in my comfort zone? And then they start to do this work within themselves. And in that case, then we could read the masculine in reverse as people starting to do the work to connect in with their emotions and their intuition, to get out of their ego, and they begin to start to claim their sovereignty. High vibe energy is about being independent in the world. I don't want to be a slave to my emotions and my thoughts and my fears and the world and my shadow nature and other people in my life. And I'm going to start to do this work within myself, not from my more egoic nature, but from my more emotionally intuitive nature, about why I do the things I do. Because other people would be happy to be in relationships with us if we're in our fear and our insecurity and our pride and our ego and our more immature, indulgent, codependent nature, because we can always find people that are kind of on the same page as us in that regard, probably, And it's like, perfect, me too, let's stay in a relationship. Let's both think this is the answer to our problems. Just like we can look outside of ourselves to drugs or booze to be the answer to our problems, we can get in relationships thinking those people are the answer to our problems, and then we're both in more codependent energy, and we can both be people can be, if not both people, one or the other people, because sometimes it's a mismatched relationship where one is more loving and giving and one isn't as much, and they're happy we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves, to be in more just and fair and balanced relationships, that we're repeating this old pattern because they benefit from us repeating that old pattern, because then we align with them in the world instead of aligning with people in the world who treat us the way we treat them, or hanging out with more emotionally grown, matured, healed people. And sometimes that's when people's shadowy nature can come out, and they can do things that aren't just and fair and balanced, and then eventually in the relationship, both people, if it's a mismatched relationship, could want to get out of the relationship, because we eventually kind of realize that one person is ready to move forward in life differently, did do some healing or growing or maturing to release themselves from things that used to restrict them. And if the other person still wants to live their life the way they've been living it and the way you both could have been living it at one time, Well, it's like, well, you've changed and I don't want to do life differently now, maybe never. And I want to stay here and I want to go get in a relationship with someone who still views life the way I view life. And they're willing to let you go and you could be willing to let them go because you just realize that kind of what drives and motivates you, what you love emotionally, what you're invested in emotionally, what you're aligned with just within yourself and how you like to live life and how you view life is different. And if you know some people that maybe don't like to stand up for themselves or kind of view life from a more worldly perspective, or maybe they like to be emotionally indulged in a relationship or be in a relationship where they kind of don't really authentically more invest in the relationship, where it can seem maybe a little more superficial and shallow, eventually people free themselves, and the people that are okay living their life the way they live it, not ready to move forward in life differently, those people probably are going to keep living life the way they live it and try to go find someone else who views life the way they view life. And the other people, this kind of reminds me of that Bible verse, don't conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But some people are very much about the world emotionally. Emotionally, that's what they love. They have chosen in their free will. I don't want to align with my more loving, intuitive, hopeful, believing nature. I love and have chosen free willingly to love my more worldly, egoic view of life. And that's what I'm going to work with emotionally, because that's what I think is what I should align with to manifest my dreams into reality. They might also find it limiting and restricting and confining, but it might make them feel more kind of stable and grounded and balanced within themselves, because to live their life differently, they're not ready for it yet, and they may never be ready for it. So we all like to stay in our comfort zone emotionally. And even if they're going to repeat an old pattern where there's nothing new to learn there, same kind of thing, different people, different faces, but I'm not willing to, maybe again, they could let their emotions or their thoughts run their life more than kind of willing to stand up for themselves. Again, because shadowy energy is more codependent energy. And for some people, this whole, they learn lessons in life, and the whole thing of these experiences in life was to get people out of their more egoic nature, to learn these lessons in life, to be willing to free themselves, to be more independent in the world. So let's go look at the top row. Balance, pleasure, the void, and nourishment. And again, the reason for all of this was the fruition card, which can be, again, what do we think is kind of just and fair and abundant? And we all grow up in the world, and we all have all these things we want to go indulge in the world. I want to go indulge in that. Mentally, that looks great. I want to go indulge in that. Or this is the way to live life. This is how I'm going to find my bounty and my happiness. And we all grow up in the world, and we all can get caught up in the illusion of the world. But some people realize that I could have all those things in the world. I could go indulge in all these things of the world. But they could have felt like, the whole thing is about our shadow nature at the big picture represented by the devil. The devil lies, and, our own egoic mind, nature, and all the things that we want to go indulge in the world. Eventually the devil is about these things that end up trying to trap us. Like, oh, you didn't realize it was about love and loving and believing in yourself, and you thought these things were the answer? These things were the answer to your problems? Yeah. Come into my trap. And you'll realize that some of these things that you thought were going to be living the life, that they kind of end up entrapping you and imprisoning you. Just like your kind of immature nature, your impulsive nature, your prideful nature, your fearful nature, your lustful, greedy, bossy, controlling nature, depending on what your issue is, that you think that's the way to do it. That's the way for me to play it safe. That's the way for me to protect myself from either having to put in this work and effort to heal and grow and mature myself, or is the answer to my problems. And then we realize that those things, by worldly standards, it could look great, could look like we got it going on, but it's just like addictions can imprison us, in a lot of ways. And some people's addiction is indulgence in some way in the world, or greed. And then because we get so caught up in our ego and our image and making those things so important in our life, there's other people who don't want to be in relationship with us because we're consumed with those things, and those things are so important to us that other people leave our life, Balance. So it's kind of getting more balance within yourself. And now this card has the clouds, which can mean about our creativity and our imagination, where before we could have been caught up in the illusions of the world and ego with the mask on. And now it's kind of about realizing how those things kind of imprisoned us and entrapped us. So now it's kind of tapping in more into the creative, intuitive, inspired nature of our dreams. The moon, listening to our intuition and love to guide us instead of more of our fear and our insecurity and our codependency. About maybe what would truly make us happy, not just in a worldly way. So emotionally, we can make our needs very important, like aren't my needs and my emotions and the things I love most important. But, we also have our spiritual nature, our creative nature, our inspired nature. Are we going to stay in things that aren't really things that inspire us and light us up? No, this is good enough. Look, I have everything that I could want by worldly standards. I look like I'm living the dream, but it doesn't maybe really align with our soul, all aspects of ourself. Emotionally, we could want to be in relationships, but do we stay in relationships just because I want to be in a relationship? Emotionally, we could want these things of the world, but then we have those things, but, again, staying in our comfort zone where it's like our soul is telling us, be bold, be brave, This isn't maybe, we can stay in jobs and careers because of the money or the status or the image, but it's like, oh my God, I hate this job. I want to go do what I really want to go do, but what would people say? Oh my gosh, I could stay in this relationship, but oh my God, and it's like, I'd really like to be in relationships with the people who are really loving and encouraging and supportive and warm and giving, but then I'd have to give up, aligning with some people in my life, and I'd have to be more independent. I would be stepping outside my comfort zone. I would have to listen to my soul and love and intuition to guide me, because I'd be going into unknown territory. And then the Void card, which is kind of about having no influences on you. And it's also kind of reminding me of the Five of Pentacles card, where we would have to detach from an old foundation and probably go through a period of feeling kind of left out in the cold, because we're no longer going to indulge our shadow nature, and when we're no longer indulging our fear, our insecurity, our codependency, our immature, lustful, prideful, defensive nature, whatever, we're going to quit hanging out with some of the people in our life that want us to keep living our life that way, we're going to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold and going into, where we can't see everything clearly. And that's why we can want to stay in our comfort zone. It's like, I know where everything is here. I know how everything acts. I know how these people act. There is nothing hidden going on here. I know how to work in this environment. And this is unknown territory. But it's also being free of things and people that try to manipulate you. Maybe even we could maybe look at the Void card as like the Virgo Hermit card of I'm going to go within to go look at the things that I haven't wanted to see the truth of and deal with my own issues that I might have kept hidden in the dark. Nourishment. So that's kind of like taking time alone also to learn to love and appreciate ourselves and what we bring to the table. If I'm staying in a job or a relationship where I feel like people are trying to manipulate me or control me or use the love that I have for them against me, or they're bossy or controlling or something, maybe I should take some time to give myself the things that I wish other people would give me. And maybe I do push people away because I haven't learned to love myself. And it starts within me. I need to love and appreciate myself. And, you gotta go through that list of, it can feel like we don't love and appreciate ourselves. But it's like, well, we've all known other people. I mean, in a way, it can be about comparison. We know all the ways we could act in the world. We know some people who act, sometimes when we're in our shadowy energy, have you ever been at a stage of life where you're comparing yourself to other people, but you know that the people that you're comparing yourself to do kind of seem to be the dregs of society in your life? It's like, oh my God. If that's the only people I can feel like I have a leg up on, maybe I need to change my life. But it is kind of maybe taking this inventory of, I don't like to, if you're someone who doesn't belittle and berate and bully other people, if you're not someone who, I don't know, likes to slander or belittle other people, if you're a loving, you just kind of do your own inventory and you do this work within yourself. And then you also can be looking at the truth about the type of people that you've aligned yourself with in your life. The whole thing is we are drawn and attracted to people, I think, because we have lessons learned from them to help us get clear about our truth. Is this my truth, or do I want to live my life differently? And just like we get in relationships with people and we're hoping a dream is going to come into reality, and we hope we're all going to release ourselves from some things we need to release ourselves from to keep moving forward, to have this dream come into reality. Other people come into relationship with us and it helps them get clear about their truth. And some of the people could realize, yeah, no, I'm not willing to do that. For one, I might not just even want to put in the work to look at the things I keep hidden in the dark. There might be people I align with and that I love, and maybe they do kind of try to manipulate and control me, but I don't want to see the truth of that. The whole thing is, some people don't want to take action. So we kind of stay in denial. I don't want to see the truth, because if I see the truth, then I would have to kind of take action on it. And we can all kind of stay in illusion in relationships in denial because we don't want to take the action that we would have to take to release ourselves from it. And we're all ready at different times to do that in our life. And sometimes we can be in friendships or relationships or workplaces with some people. We might know there's some things that manipulate and control them, their own immature, prideful, bossy, controlling nature, their ego nature, their immature, lustful, whatever. Or that they have people in their life that kind of manipulate and control them. And if we keep staying in a relationship with them, even if those things don't manipulate and control us, they are like, or that thing, or that emotion, or that fear, or those people, or the world at large, if it manipulates them, it manipulates us. And so we can get to a place where it's like, you know what? I wish you peace. To me, this kind of looks like a dead tree here. We can all cling to an old foundation for stability and security. Some people get in relationships and even marry people, but their friend group or their job or their ego or their original family is kind of the main foundation in their life, not love and hope and faith and belief. And then we realize we're kind of like the third party, that whoever it is that kind of manipulates them, their ego, their fear, other people in their life, that they never really plan to become independent of those things or those people. They're more codependent on that or those people for their sense of like their main core foundation of like feeling stable or grounded within themselves, and they're not willing to become more independent of it. And also this tree looks dead. We could know people that are, dead, shadowy energy can represent dead energy. Nothing's growing there, nothing new. And some people are okay with that. I don't want to change. I don't want to live life differently. This is how I grew up viewing life. This is how my family did life. This is how my friends do life. And yet, we're never going to step out of our comfort zone to shed a layer of ourself, to do this work within ourself, to grow to our full potential. We're okay doing life just like this. And some people find that to be stagnant and dead. Because high vibe energy is about going with the flow, where we shed these old layers of ourself to give birth to new layers of ourself, just like we did age 15, 18, 21, and 25. And some people are like, I want to grow up and I want to get a job, I want to get married, blah, 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 and then I'm good. And it isn't any longer about challenging their fears and their insecurities to grow to their full potential. It's like that was their dream, and that's how they want to live life, and they didn't dream of doing more. I like to stay in my comfort zone. And plus, then I don't have to deal with the truth. I don't have to be more independent in the world. I don't have to become independent of anything. I don't have to deal with my own fears or my insecurities or my ego nature or whatever issues I got. I just don't want to deal with them. It's like, okay. And some other people are like, I can't live my life like that. So even though I have my fears and insecurities about doing that, my intuition, and our intuition was given to us as a gift. Those other people's intuition could be telling them, you shouldn't be doing this. You're being stubborn. You're being resistant. You're being prideful. You're being manipulative. You're letting your fears or your emotions or your mind or, you're not kind of being creative and inspired in your life to stand up for yourself and what you really believe in. You're conforming to the world, but they just keep like, no, 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 no. Stay out, go away, go away, go away. And people have free will to live their life like that if they want. We all do. It makes us feel safe and secure. And some of these people emotionally feel safe and secure in there. And it's like blocking out the moon. It is this ruling planet of Cancer, but it also in Pisces can represent our intuition. Some people are like, no, no, no. I have release that in my free will, I chose to be independent of my more loving, intuitive nature, and I am going to take action, making my life about me or the world, and that's how I choose to live my life. Other people see the truth of it. Some of you already did. Some people could just now be seeing the truth. Some other people are like, no, I'm going to keep trying to make these people look at life from a different perspective. It's like, okay, high vibe people are moving forward, giving themselves the things that they wish other people would give them to heal. So they would quit being drawn and attracted to getting in relationships with people who aren't on the same page as them. Seeing the truth of it. People have free will. If I meet someone, I might be attracted to them. But if I see that they have not done the same work with it within themselves like I have, yeah, I'm no longer, sorry. Yep, no. You stay in the friend category. Because I'm not going to invest my time, energy, and effort into trying to change someone anymore. I've already been there and I've done that. If people aren't free of their living more from their mind than their heart and their egoic nature, I'm going to go invest in the people and move forward with the people in my life who do treat me with love and respect, are warm, are authentic, are just and fair, act with character and integrity. And I'm going to keep, because I did learn that my intuition was a gift that was given to me. And maybe when I got in some of these past relationships, my intuition was screaming at me too. But no, God, I'm sure this will work. Now I'm sure. And pride comes before the fall. And then we had some hard lessons to learn that, shit, I got myself in something. Now I got to get out of it and do this work within myself to face my fears of not settling for something that isn't, I have come to realize, aligned with my truth. And then I got to go through this period of starting over again. And I don't want to give up again kind of my sovereignty and my independence. And I'm going to take action to keep releasing myself to not get in my shadow nature. And I'm going to keep listening to love and intuition to guide me. So, what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy that they might not see coming up? Okay. The Leo Strength card, because of the Queen of Wands, which I also view as Leo energy. This is a process. It can be difficult. We can definitely go through a period of feeling left out in the cold. We can definitely have to spend a lot of time nurturing ourselves and loving ourselves so that we don't kind of go indulge trying to free ourselves to have the things that we want in the world. Because there's a lot of people in the world that even could want to be in a relationship with some high vibe people, but they're not taking action from them because they're not willing to look at life differently. And if they were to be in a relationship with you, they need you to be in this energy. And they're like just waiting, you know? Are they in their fear? Are they in their insecurity? Did they give up believing in their dreams? Can I manipulate them to do the relationship this way? Because this is the way I like to do a relationship. High vibe Leo is about tempering your more worldly, beastly nature. Why? Because you're choosing to be in life-giving energy. Leo energy also represented by the sun, and listening to love and intuition to guide you. That as we go through this process, we will feel more, we keep offering ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness, offer other people love, compassion, and forgiveness. I choose to keep staying in this energy. We will be the strong, stable, grounded, loving, nurturing person that we want to be, but it does take time for the people that are still in process of it. For the people that have already kind of gone through a process of it, of detaching, initially we can kind of physically detach from people, but then eventually we get to where we kind of emotionally detach, even though we haven't even been in a relationship with them for a while, because we're these emotionally complex human beings. And let's see, I'm trying to look at Leo. Okay, the opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius energy. And we had to get balance between kind of in our worldly nature. We had this dream that we wanted to bring into reality, and we had this way of viewing life. And we had all these things that we thought for sure were going to be the answer. And we had to temper our more worldly nature of what we thought would make us happy, because we realized it didn't, and it was confining and restrictive. And now we're listening to our intuition. And then we get to where we have more emotionally detached. And then I think these two cards here both kind of seem to talk about abundance. Because here our planet is like becoming more abundant, and our intuition and our loving nature is kind of watering us emotionally and feeling more abundant within ourselves, and just taking that time to only kind of, we can know lots of people in the world that we deal with, hang out with, socialize with, but really focusing our time, energy, and effort onto the people who nurture us and encourage us. And that all helps to, and just enjoying our life. Going and watching movies, reading books, music, art, investing in our own unique talent, skills, and interests, investing in our career, all these different things that we can do to grow and mature ourselves emotionally and that are nurturing to us. And I think as we keep moving forward in that way, there's going to be different people that want to be in a relationship with you, because high vibe Leo and Cancer, you're a loving person, you're shining bright in the world, you're warm, you're authentic, and there's going to be different people that want to be in a relationship with you, and you'll just listen to your intuition about who's who. Because some people, from their pride and ego, it's like, oh gee, if I were to be in a relationship with you, for one, that would get me out of something I am in, and it would look like I'm like a shining star in the world. You're going to have people that want to be in a relationship with you just out of pride and ego, indulgence, like to be in a relationship with someone who's more disciplined and warm and loving than some of the people in their life, but they're still in shadowy energy. And I think you're going to listen to your intuition, as you get to know people. With the Void card kind of being like the Five of Pentacles, it's about investing time, energy, and effort into people to get to know them. Again, though, I can offer love and encouragement and resources to people, but I'm going to temper my worldly egoic nature to maybe not get in relationships with people if my intuition is telling me they haven't done this work within themselves. And there's going to be some people it could take a lot of strength to turn your back on, to a degree where you're not getting in a more involved relationship with them. But you've learned, until you free yourself from the things that manipulate you, and because I've been in a relationship with people like that, I don't want to be in relationships with people who, high vibe Leo, I want to be in a relationship with people who are authentic, loving, warm, encouraging, supportive. Not people trying to present themselves as being that, but they're defensive to being more authentic and vulnerable in a relationship. And there will be other people who want to be in a relationship with you because they know you've done that, and they've done that too. Different people in the fruition card would like to have new beginnings with you, or after you go through this process and you will have new beginnings. Let's go take a look at it. Tell us about the new beginning to come, assuming you're not in process of it. the Ace of Swords, the King of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, the Aquarius Star card, and the Six of Pentacles, all because of the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups represents all three of the water sign energies. Being in relationships with people who emotionally are all in aligning with their more hopeful, believing nature. Not in their Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio energy, still aligned with the world. You know, it's more about being in that hopeful, believing energy. Being truthful, being authentic, letting their hopeful, believing inner child, loving nature out to play in the world. In truth and maturity. That it's about love. Love is what makes it all worthwhile. And that's some lessons that some other people haven't learned. Oh no, I'm sure if I go indulge in these things, or I make it all about me, or I make it about controlling someone, or I make it about me being the center of attention, or me making a certain amount of money or status or image, they're going to realize that love was the thing that would have made it all worthwhile. But they weren't maybe willing to do that. They maybe weren't willing to let their more authentic nature out to play in the world. They keep that, their more emotional nature, imprisoned. Their more authentic, loving, hopeful, believing nature they keep imprisoned. People who are inspired to get out of their ego and stand up for themselves and defend the fact that they have learned these lessons in life also, and they've healed, and they have looked at life from a higher perspective, and they didn't give up on their dreams out of codependency, or out of fear, or out of ego. And they're balanced within themselves, and they're doing equal give and take in their relationships. And that's what they do within themselves. I am like a good parent to myself in the King of Pentacles to the Page of Cups. And in my loving nature, I've offered love to my more worldly, egoic nature. I keep offering myself love and encouragement and compassion and forgiveness. I do have my worldly, shadowy nature. I can't escape it. But I offer it love to grow and mature it so it doesn't stay like an immature child. And together, we work together from love so that we can move forward victoriously in the world, in our foundation of self, focused on the truth and justice and fairness and balance, because we have this dream we want to bring into reality. And my loving nature has kind of convinced my shadowy nature that we are going to get the things that we want in the world. We're just going to go about it acting with character and integrity and love and hope and faith, because when we do it out of fear and insecurity and immaturity, it didn't work out the way we wanted, and we need to see the truth of that, and we kind of need to grow up and mature ourselves and learn to love ourselves and be happy and stable and grounded and healed within ourselves, to not give up on our dreams, because when we don't take action like that, our dreams don't come into reality. And then we invest in other people in the world. We make offers to people and gestures to people in the world who we think are on the same page as us. We wish peace to the people in our life who showed us that that wasn't how they view life. And we wish them peace, and we're not going to move forward and invest our time and energy and effort into them anymore, because we've seen the truth that their dream is different than our dream. What drives and motivates them is different than what drives and motivates us, and we've healed, and we're ready to exchange that to get in new relationships with other people. And then that is what you align with, and then that's who you invest your time, energy, and effort into, and then those are the only kind of people basically you can manifest, because those are the only type of people you're going to keep investing your time, energy, and effort into. I wish the other people peace, love, and joy. I hope their life works out. See you at Christmas if you're a family member. But, I'm not going to invest my time, energy, and effort into you much. You're just someone I know. So what's coming up for the people who might harness a more worldly or shadowy Cancer energy that they might not see coming? We have the King of Cups, and the reason is because of the Two of Wands and the Six of Cups. For the shadowy people, one thing they didn't see coming, I view the King of Cups as Cancer energy, that some other people would learn to love and believe in themselves, and they would take action to bring their dreams into reality. And part of that, the Two of Wands is Aries energy, which can represent the self. They offered love to themselves to reconcile themselves with the past. And they offered love to themselves to get balance within themselves emotionally. To believe in their dreams. Reconcile themselves with the past so they can release the past and they can go on this new journey. And looking to offer love to other people in their life who they're harnessing high vibe Cancer, Aries, and Scorpio. I believe in my dreams. I want to be in deep, meaningful relationships with people who are balanced within themselves, who have learned to love themselves so they can work together with others and give and receive love. And some of these people never thought some people in their life would do that because they don't do that within themselves. And they might not know other people who ever free themselves from their more harnessing this energy in a shadowy way. Shadowy Cancer, shadowy Aries, shadowy Scorpio. I present myself as loving so that people will get in a relationship with me. But really, I'm kind of about myself and I want to repeat this old pattern. And other people are like, you know what? You can go repeat that pattern with someone else. I've already learned the lesson I was meant to learn from it, that I didn't like that pattern. Whatever way of being in a relationship that you have, I don't like it. Because I might find you to be someone who uses your emotions manipulatively, might be a little bit more about yourself, might be kind of bossy and controlling, might be kind of immature, might be superficial and shallow, and that's not the type of relationship I want. So what's coming up? The shadowy people are going to have some high vibe people leave their life, and they're going to do this work within themselves and go get in relationships with people who are on the same page as them. They did not see that coming. Another thing they might not see coming, they could have another loving person. You know, because people can present themselves, I'm this loving family person. And someone's like, oh my gosh, there's a loving family person. I think my dreams could come into reality with you. If they get in a relationship with another loving person and they don't grow or heal or mature themselves, the same scenario is going to play out. For some of them, it's playing out again. And somebody's like, nope, I'm releasing you. I'm going to move on and believe in myself and temper my fears and insecurities. I don't want to repeat this pattern either. You have this way of being in a relationship that I've been there and I've done that. They might end up finding out that the person they do end up having to stay in a relationship with and being in a relationship, which would be a just and fair relationship, is for them to be in a relationship with someone like themselves. And they might have someone come towards them who presents themselves as wearing like their high vibe Cancer energy. Just like they do. But why? Because they have a dream of repeating a pattern of the past. I too could have had people in relationships that wanted me to grow and heal and mature myself. And I was defensive to that because that meant my foundation needed to heal. My foundation had to look at life from a higher perspective. And I'm defensive to all of that. So I want to get in a relationship with you. Because I think you kind of view life the way I view life. And neither one of us, we kind of gave up on our dreams of love. We might be more comfortable being in a more emotionally shallow, superficial life. And we both might go out in the world and to each other present ourselves as these loving people, but it is kind of superficial and shallow. And we both could be people who try to use our emotions manipulatively and control people in a relationship because we're really afraid of other people loving and believing in themselves, and we want them to stay in a relationship with us because it's good for our ego and our image and our status. Or if we're both just willing to repeat this pattern because neither one of us is willing to go take action and believe in our dreams. And the high vibe people could see that, and it's like, yep, they're repeating that pattern, and if that person wants to live their life that way, that's a just and fair relationship. They're both on the same page. I just wasn't on that page, and I'm not willing to give up my dreams and feel imprisoned in something. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.